Kia ora, my name is Brooklyn Pairata. I'm an artist, entrepreneur and father residing over here in Pūhoro, Australia. Growing up, I was raised heavily on tikanga Māori. We were forced into kapuhaka. My kuia spoke te reo Māori around us constantly. Moko is identity. Moko is a way of connecting. It's a way for us to carry on upholding tikanga, storytelling. I remember, prepping my whānau, getting everything that we needed for our wānanga, and we were heading over to the studio. We get there, marked up right through till about midnight, probably past midnight. I can't actually remember if we got started that night or if it was, yeah, it was the next day. At this point, I've prepped as best as I possibly could. I'm happy with my physical. I'd just come off a 16-week training block, strength block. I'd been doing my mobility for at this point, probably a year and a half. So I was deep in prep. I'd been prepping for so long. I think I had finished the 75 hard. I was probably in the best possible shape mentally and physically, definitely spiritually, to undergo this journey. I remember the fear creeping in. I remember it because I remember saying to Rihanna, I was like, I'm nervous. And she told me, she goes, you're all right, you're ready. I remember jumping onto the table and just being like, holy hecka. Um, I had preconceived expectations of myself and of this process. I was actually following what I thought were guidelines based off other people's experiences. I was already saying to myself that I need to complete my pūhoro in one hit. It was going to be a back to back to back. I was going to do whatever it took. For me, it was like, I don't care if I die on this table. I will stay until I finish the mahi because, yeah, basically because of my preconceived expectations. And so, yeah, time definitely played a huge obstacle because before we kicked it off, when we were in our planning stages of how it was going to go, my old man and I spoke and he threw the figure to me. He said, "Oh, 5 days, that's us." And then, he kind of touched around the 7 days. So 7 days was going to be the one, and then I had given myself 10 days. My father-in-law actually he goes to us, look, bro, when you go in to get your pūhoro, whatever amount of days you've been given, just times that by two. We ended up going 13 days straight. My pūhoro took 17 days. Now these 17 days, they were sometimes anywhere between 6 to 12 hour sessions. It was a huge experience and a new experience for the both of us. This process brought us a lot closer. I got to learn a lot about my father, the way he works, certain tikanga and kawa that he abides by, just his natural flow of how he operates in and out of the studio. I actually needed to be somewhere. I was about to travel, get to about the 13th day, because on the 14th day, I'm needing to, I'm about to jump on the plane the next day. He said to me, son, we've pushed as much as we could, but yeah, we're probably not going to complete our mahi within the expected time frame. I had actually processed all of that, and I had come to terms with not completing my pūhoro all in one hit. This was not a template session, and so I had come to terms with what needed to be done. I was honoured and grateful for going this far, and so yeah, got to the 13th day, we finished up, and that was us. I came back a few weeks later and continued on sessions to where we're at today. How did I first become interested in moko? Well, my father, this is what he was always passionate about. Before stepping into the realm of moko, my first love in any art form was graffiti. I was always into the letters, the colours, the whole graph scene, especially the Aotearoa graph scene. That was my first real passion for art. It came from that space. I was almost into my 20s. My dad goes to me, if you're keen on getting into the tattoo game, you don't just have to do moko. That kind of relieved me of a lot of pressure because being the son of a great artist, especially in the moko industry, that pressure was and still is definitely there. But when he when he said those words to me, it gave me an opportunity to come into the space and focus on what I loved. I love lettering, I love portraits. He took me through my apprenticeship when I first started out. We went through that whole style there, but eventually I think being around him and realizing who's going to carry on in his footsteps when it comes to moko, and it was just a no-brainer. Yeah, it was something that I didn't have to think too much about, naturally followed in those footsteps. I love moko.